to a blustery but dry Knockhill racing circuit. In today's programme we are looking at the Scottish Formula 4 Championship, and on pole position is Ross Martin in a heavily repaired car. You'll remember last time Ross had an incident in the David Leslie Trophy race on the last lap. One of the most spectacular accidents we've seen here in a long time. Thankfully escaped uninjured and has recovered nicely by putting it back on pole position. Seb Melrose, who had 2 wins, has had a bad qualifying. I spoke to him this morning and he's quite upset with himself. He's right the way back there in 7th place, but Kenneth COWIE staring at me there, giving me the death stare alongside Ross on the front row. I'm sure these guys are going to give us a good race, and it's also nice to see Jordan GRONKOWSKI getting the Van Diemen working as well. I'll hand it to Richard and he'll take us through all the action of race 1.
Simply love the death stare. That's pretty good, isn't it? Ross Martin starts on pole position. He's going to be the focus of Kenneth COWIE, who lines up second. Jordan GRONKOWSKI and Matthew Chisholm row 2 from Michael McPherson and Sebastian Melrose. Row 4, Clay Mitchell and Neil Broom. Then it's Steve Barlow and David Hurry. 6th row, completing the grid, Ross Howe and Fraser Gray. Cars in good order. Weather not looking too bad here. That's the 5-second board being shown right of shot, and immediately the countdown begins. The question is, how long will the starting official keep them there? The answer is not very long. They're underway. Super start by Ross Martin from Kenneth COWIE in 2nd place. Everybody, in fact, away very nicely indeed. But look at Ross Martin. This is a notice of intent from Martin, who is away. Kenneth COWIE in 2nd. We're looking at Jordan GRONKOWSKI closing up on him. COWIE in the, as we look at it from the other side, white, but now you can see the black car, so it depends where our cameras are pointing as to what the car looks like. Still got the newcomers cross on the car, so Kenneth COWIE, a very welcome newcomer to this championship, and how much potential has he shown us in the opening 4 meetings of the year so far. Well, this is the 4th meeting of the year. He's coming under pressure from the vastly experienced Jordan GRONKOWSKI, but Ross Martin is the leader. Let's watch 2nd and 3rd. So it's Martin, COWIE, GRONKOWSKI, Chisholm. Then I think Sebastian Melrose from Michael McPherson and Clay Mitchell. We'll see as they go up the hill, coming into shot. That's exactly how they are. And then down the hill and over the line to complete the first lap. Good stuff from GRONKOWSKI. Now GRONKOWSKI in 3rd and in a shout with a podium. We'll talk about Jordan a little bit later on. Clay Mitchell looking to try and close in now on Michael McPherson. McPherson in turn looking at the white car, the yellow roll hoop and yellow crash helmet of Sebastian Melrose, joint championship leader coming into this race with Ross Martin. They both have a total of 125 points. Martin, though, would be given the verdict by the fact that he's had 4 race wins. So on the tie-break, Martin, the championship leader. But those two have built a mightily impressive 41-point lead over Matthew Chisholm, who is 3rd in the championship, and Matthew in the black and blue car running in 4th place at the moment. Back of this group, the one to watch, I would suggest, is Clay Mitchell. Another driver who's had some national racing experience outside of Scotland, and always good to see Clay. Good attacking driver, using his head here. He's got a very good line, looking at the inside of Michael McPherson, and goes down into Duffus Dip and grabs the position away from McPherson. He's now got to try and close up on Sebastian Melrose, who's in front. He won't do that for a little while, but that was a great move by Mitchell. McPherson getting back on the case, trying to close in on him as they go through the chicane. Oh, a little bit wide there from McPherson, maybe trying a little bit too hard perhaps to try and close up again on Clay Mitchell. So Mitchell makes up a position. It's amazing how many podium finishing drivers we've got right, in the whole grid here. I've said it before, I make no apology for saying this is a very competitive year in Scottish Formula 4 racing. This is round 8 of this year's championship, and we've had different winners, although, as I did say, Ross Martin and Seb Melrose have started to build up something of a good lead. 41 points. Now bear in mind, 25 points for a race win, plus an extra point for fastest lap. So that puts in perspective what Messrs Martin and Melrose were doing at the start of the year. And here comes, look at that lock up down the inside. Clay Mitchell having a very good look indeed at Sebastian Melrose. This is Formula Ford 1600 racing out of the top draw. This is exactly what Formula Ford is designed to be. You can overtake if you've got the ability and if you've got the guts. We go back to 2nd, 3rd and 4th. COWIE, GRONKOWSKI, Matt Chisholm, who's 3rd in the championship. Matt Chisholm ahead of Jordan GRONKOWSKI. the red and white car. Who would have thought that we'd have got to July and be speculating whether GRONKOWSKI is going to get his first podium of the year? No way. Really unbelievable situation. And he is in a podium position at the moment. GRONKOWSKI's podium still looking likely. He's in third place. Matthew Chisholm in the 92. So it's two Rays out front. Ray first, Ray second, Van Diemen third and fourth, and then a whole gaggle of Rays following up the hill. What a race this has started to be. Clay Mitchell now, as you can see, is ahead of Sebastian Melrose. So Mitchell in the 20 car has done a lot of hard work in this race. Melrose, the championship leader, with that place going, we'll see the championship lead slip away. Joe said he was a little bit cross with himself after qualifying. He'll be keen to get back on. Joe Tanner, of course, the 2005 Scottish Formula Ford champion. Only 12 years ago, Joe. Won't thank me for reminding him about that. But Joe does a great job of interviewing and introducing our racers and helping a lot of our racers, as well as we go back to the race leader, Ross Martin, who is looking to get back to winning ways. Round number 8 and looking for his 5th win of the year. Comes up and across the line again. He's got a huge lead here, Martin. This has really been a statement from Ross Martin. Kenny Cowie second, Jordan GRONKOWSKI coming under pressure from Matthew Chisholm. The two Van Diemens having a very good dice indeed. So we go a little bit further up. Fraser Gray in red down at the bottom of the hill. Who is we've got Ross Howe, Stephen Barlow, David Hurry, Neil Broom we saw go through shot as well. But back to the scrap for third place, Jordan GRONKOWSKI. A little bit of drift of Kenny Cowie at the moment. Fastest lap of the race, unsurprisingly, with Ross Martin. So he is going to bag the extra point. Martin goes out of shot. Here is Kenny Cowie in second. Third place, GRONKOWSKI. And Chisholm is all over the back of him at the moment. Matthew Chisholm has had 4 podia so far. 2 retirements and a 5th. So Chisholm, having taken the decision at the start of the year, or between seasons, to move up into the class for more modern machinery, and what a move it's been. He's using all his experience. He's been mightily impressive this year and heads across the line. Can he close down on Jordan GRONKOWSKI? Well, he's certainly having a go and looks to the outside line as they head down towards Duffus. GRONKOWSKI will look in his mirrors. This will really help the cause of Kenny Cowie. In second place, Cowie will lose a little bit of will gain ground rather on these two. They will lose ground on Cowie in second place as potentially they compromise their racing lines. Got to say, GRONKOWSKI looking relatively comfortable in that third at the moment. He is under pressure, but he's not driving lines that would suggest to me that he's overtly defending at the moment. So Chisholm still trying to chip away. Clay Mitchell back in 5th place after a gritty start. Mitchell started 7th, so we saw him move up and put in a great move past Michael McPherson earlier on. And of course since then he's managed to overtake Sebastian Melrose as the race leaders go on to their last lap. It is still Ross Martin who leads this one and looks like bagging a 5th win of the year. Here is the number 11, the youngster from Alexandria in the 2017 latest specification Ray, built by Gavin Ray down in his Croydon workshop. And turns out a super car, does Gavin Ray, and it's certainly doing the business here for Ross Martin, who's going to find himself back on the top step of the podium after a little blip. The 2 retirements, you heard Joe talking about the rollover in the David Leslie Trophy, which was pretty scary to see, but he's bounced back from that and looks like he's going to take the win. Nothing to trouble him. All he's got to do is steer the car out of the hairpin and up the hill to take win number 5 and consolidate the championship lead here at Knockhill. There it is, Ross Martin takes the win. It's a big gap back. It's over 6 seconds, very nearly, in fact 7 to Kenny Cowie, who takes second. Jordan GRONKOWSKI back on the podium. Matt Chisholm is 4th, then it's Clay Mitchell. Sebastian Melrose is next. Melrose finishing in 6th place. Michael McPherson in 7th from Neil Broom. David Hurry is 9th from Ross Howe. 11th place goes to Fraser Gray. And 12th position, the final finisher, is Stephen Barlow. Ross Martin also grabbing the bonus point for the fastest lap.
Ross, well done. At the last round, the wheels literally came off the championship, but that puts them back on.
Yeah, of course, what a great way to start back again. But yeah, I can't thank the team enough. My sponsors, they really did get behind me the past couple of weeks. It's been tough, but for sure getting back out is the main thing, and yeah, coming back with a bouncing start like this, I can't thank them enough.
Before you went out, I heard your, what would we call him, your mentor, Sandy Forrest, talking about the start and how you need to get going, and you did it, didn't you? I mean, the start was unbelievable, but then the first couple of laps is where you won the race.
Yeah, of course, he's the man for telling me everything to do. He's been there, done it. So yeah, exactly, getting a good start is priority, but the first 3 laps really counted for me, and once you see them a little bit of battling in your mirrors, you can relax after that. Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you. Cheers, guys.
Kenny, it was poised for a good battle there, but Ross's start, he was so strong, not only off the line, but the first couple of laps. Once it got going, you were sort of the same lap time, but the gap was huge.
Yeah, I think that's really all you can say about it, is he just disappeared at the start, and did my best to try and catch back up with him, but made a wee mistake, kind of, I think 4th, 5th lap.
I saw a 57 creep in sort of midway.
Yeah, missed a gear going into Duffus, and that allowed Jordan back on me, so after that I just realised there's no point pushing it too hard, not going to catch Ross, so took it home for 2nd place and pretty happy with that.
Well done, go make some changes.
Thanks very much.
Jordan, welcome back. Just before the start of that race, I pointed at you and said how nice it was to see the Van Diemen working again, back up there with the Rays. 3rd place, it was hard fought though, wasn't it? You had Matthew first, close company.
Yeah, it was. It was kind of a race of 2 halves for me. And in the start, it looked like I could maybe get Kenneth. The car felt great, and yeah, I was itching to get by and get after Ross in the lead. But around about halfway through, just started to struggle a little bit with the rear end, and yeah, Matthew was so close that once he was in there, it was difficult to get away again. But cracking battle with the guys, and yeah, it's fantastic to be back on the podium. Big thanks to Dad, hard work all this year, all our sponsors, all of my race space people that race with us, and yeah, it's thanks to all them that we're back on the podium. So fantastic.
Go make some changes and make it closer in the next one.
That's the plan.
Race 2 for the Scottish Formula Ford is about to get underway, and back on pole position is race 1 winner Ross Martin. Made a really good start, and the first 2 laps really is where he did the damage. Kenny knows that though, lining up alongside him on the grid, he's got the death stare and the thumbs up. He's going to try to make a slightly better getaway and make a race of it at the front. I'll hand it to Richard and he'll take us through all the action.
Thanks very much, Joe. Ross Martin and Kenny Cowie form the front row. Jordan GRONKOWSKI and Matthew Chisholm in behind. Then it is Clay Mitchell 5th. Sebastian Melrose 6th from Michael McPherson and Neil Broom. David Hurry and Ross Howe on row 5. The grid completed by Fraser Gray and Stephen Barlow. Round 9 of the championship about to get underway. All 12 cars finished race number 1, so hats off to them. Let's hope the same thing happens here in race number 2. Lighting sequence is complete. And no time to say anymore. We're underway. Ross Martin makes a good start. There is Matthew Chisholm trying to get away in front of Clay Mitchell, but Mitchell looks very quick off the line. Clay Mitchell has gone through ahead of Matt Chisholm, so a good move there by him. They're all away. Spot of rain on the camera lens. It's been threatening on and off all day here, so let's hope that we get a dry race. So it's Martin from Cowie and GRONKOWSKI as they were at the start of the end of race number 1, and then in 4th place now Clay Mitchell in car number 20. Clay Mitchell, impressive really. Think of it, you have to think in terms of where you start in qualifying. Mitchell wouldn't have been overly happy with 7th on the grid, but 2 overtakes in race 1 popped him up to 5th, and now he's up into 4th. I tell you what, he's challenging for a podium position already, Clay Mitchell. It's just been a good racing meeting for him. Into 4th, challenging Jordan GRONKOWSKI. Then it's Matt Chisholm, Sebastian Melrose, Michael McPherson at the back of the lead group at the moment. They're all jostling, going across and defending was Jordan GRONKOWSKI, and that means that Mitchell therefore sees a gap on the outside as they go down to Duffus, but GRONKOWSKI has the run down into Duffus and into Leslie's, maintains 3rd place, and Clay Mitchell will continue to chase. Mitchell looking very urgent at the moment as they come out of Butchers and up through the chicane onto the Brabham Straight, heading towards Clark Curve. GRONKOWSKI still in 3rd, but making a move there, has half a look, then goes again and through into 3rd place. Super stuff. Clay Mitchell is up into 3rd, starting the first race in 7th on the grid, and now up into a potential podium. Superb stuff from the young Glaswegian. 3 wide now because Matthew Chisholm's getting in on the act as well on the outside line. Then we've got Sebastian Melrose, Michael McPherson in black with red immediately behind. Melrose gets a little bit of opposite lock coming out of the hairpin, but retains position. But Clay Mitchell on that lap, he really did have the speed off the start. Whatever Clay Mitchell has done to his car, or whatever his engineers have done, or whatever has gone into his head has worked well. He was quick in race number 1. We saw that with 2 overtakes, and he's just popped in another 2 now, 1 off the line, another one up into Clark. So Clay Mitchell Great value for money in this one. Jordan Gronkowski bumped off the podium. They were hoping to get the speed on the Van Diemen up. So at the moment, it's a Ray shutout on the podium. And they've got a car off. And that is David Hurry, who is out, thankfully, out of the car. Always good to see the driver out of the car, but not good to see a retirement. First retirement of the race. First retirement, indeed, of the meeting. Going down into Duffus. Matthew Chisholm coming under pressure from Michael McPherson. Chisholm now losing out to Sebastian Melrose. Melrose, of course, losing out points-wise. Sebastian picking up 10 points. It was 26 for Ross Martin. So Martin, the clear championship leader now. Sebastian Melrose still second. Matt Chisholm third from Jordan Gronkowski in fourth place. Fifth place is Neil Broom, and sixth place Craig Mitchell. So in actual fact, the championship positions after race one, the same as they were coming into the meeting. As Chisholm looks down the inside line, the black and blue car, nothing doing for him there. Top six the same, but positions have closed up. Clay Mitchell now 1 point behind Neil Broom. So Mitchell closing up. It's very tight between Chisholm in third place and Clay Mitchell in sixth position in the championship. I think that third place spot in the championship is going to be a big issue right the way through to the end of the season. Plenty to race for still in the remaining 6 races. Well, here's Neil Broom. Neil Broom fifth in the championship. He's in car number 3. Race winner last time out, Neil Broom, in race 1 of the meeting in June, and he's up ahead of Ross Howe. Behind them, Stephen Barlow and Fraser Gray. Nice bit of opposite lock there from Ross Howe, collects it up well. Neil Broom running in 7th position at the moment, past David Hurry's car. Good to see David safe and well, and he's going to watch the race. And a lot of drivers, when you talk to them, when they're not in the cockpit, they do tend to learn a fair amount from watching the other drivers, but you're never really in the best mindset after a retirement to perhaps make the most of that. But a good scrap going on here though. 7th position, Neil Broom there at the moment. Stephen Barlow trying to close in on him to go up the hill. The man from Oven putting the pressure on, but we're with the leading group again. Michael McPherson challenging Matthew Chisholm. Still the rain threatening a little bit, still seeing the occasional spit and spot on the camera lenses around the circuit. Back with Neil Broom, 7th place, so it's Martin, Cowie, Mitchell, Gronkowski, then Sebastian Melrose, Matthew Chisholm still there as well, Michael McPherson, Neil Broom, Stephen Barlow, Fraser Gray is at the back of the group. We go back to Matthew Chisholm coming under pressure from Michael McPherson, who's going to look high and wide into the hairpin. Sebastian Melrose still in defensive mood. Can't seem to close in at the moment on Jordan Gronkowski, who looks settled in 4th place. Clay Mitchell still in 3rd. Up across the line they go. Best lap of the race again with the race leader Ross Martin on lap number 5, a 55.299. Kenny Cowie setting a 55.4, Clay Mitchell 55.9. So the positions have kind of settled into where the lap times are, but still some good battling going on right the way down the field, as Matthew Chisholm still comes under pressure from Michael McPherson. We'll see whether Michael can get through, and Sebastian Melrose makes a little mistake there, runs wide, gets punished for that. Here comes Gronkowski in 4th, Chisholm back up to 5th from Michael McPherson. Sebastian Melrose in behind them now. Melrose in the 2014 race, same as McPherson. So car number 30, Steve Barlow, trying to close down now on Neil Broom. And Ross Howe, you can see. Oh, very wild moment for Ross Howe, who went wide, and equally a wide moment for the red car of Fraser Gray. So those guys dicing over 8th, 9th, 10th and 11th. Meanwhile, Michael McPherson, you can see here, Sebastian Melrose is back to the head of that trio. We can almost call it a quartet, because it's Jordan Gronkowski at the head of it, but Jordan coming under pressure. It is a quartet now, and looking through at the inside line is Sebastian Melrose, with Michael McPherson hard in the mix as well. Matthew Chisholm right in behind them, and Chisholm closing up, and he's going to have to look round the outside line here. So this is for 4th place. And Jordan Gronkowski won't really appreciate this pressure. It was a podium for him in race number 1, soaked up a lot of pressure. He seems to be having the time at the moment, driving on his mirrors a great deal. Chisholm was going to have a look up the inside line then, but decided not to do it. Gronkowski starting to pull away again now as Melrose gets his mirrors full of Michael McPherson, the Inverness man, chasing hard, and now looks to the inside line, but on the last lap it's Ross Martin who is again clear. The winning margin in race 1, 6.9 seconds. This one is closer. Whether he's taken it a little bit easier or not, I don't know, but the gap just a shade under 3 seconds between himself and placeman Kenneth COWIE, with Clay Mitchell up onto the podium. Clay looking for his 3rd podium of the year here. And it's a return to form, a return to decent results for both Martin and Mitchell in this one. Martin goes down to the hairpin for the last time. Steve Barlow is running there. Steve in 8th place, up ahead of Fraser Gray. There is the checkered flag, and Ross Martin takes the win. Kenny COWIE in 2nd. It's a double for Martin here this weekend. Clay Mitchell crosses the line in 3rd. Clay's back on the podium. Jordan Gronkowski is hanging on here and takes 4th place. Then it was Sebastian Melrose from Michael McPherson. Neil Broom next from Steve Barlow, Fraser Gray, Ross Howe completing the top 10 and indeed the classified finishers here in round number 9 of the championship. Ross Martin also taking fastest lap.
Ross, well done. I'm going to say dominant there. Your lap time advantage over Kenny isn't massive. It's a 10th, a 10th, a 10th, but it's the first couple of laps.
Yeah, I think trying to string a lap or two together at the start is very important. I've been really practicing my starts recently, and I think that's helped me the most. But like you said, first 2 laps, if you can get those qualifying laps, and then you make the gap and make it comfortable for yourself. But for me, consistency is key, and throughout a 12-lap race, I think it is, if you're taking a 10th out of every lap, I mean, that's a second and a half at the end of the race. So yeah, we've got to take that.
We're also forgetting the accident that you had at the previous round. I mean, you've completely, it's not affected you at all. Obviously, it was never gonna. You've been at this since you were knee-high, I would imagine. But yeah, we need to remember that was a big shunt, and to bounce back with 2 wins is a great result. Makes it even sweeter.
Yeah, of course, I always wanted to come back and do it this way. You know, it's almost like restarting my season. So me and Seba, we're on joint points at start of this weekend, and you know, I don't know what it is now, but this is what.
Kenny, well done. A successful weekend. It's not the wins that you're looking for, that you were hoping for, but still 2 solid 2nd places. It's good for the points, and it starts to set us up to that championship battle that we're all looking forward to at the end of the year.
That's it. I mean, I think coming into this weekend, we really wanted to put good, solid points on the board. So to be able to come away with 2 seconds, more than happy with that.
I think once you get going, I said this before, it's not that bad. The pace difference isn't much, but it's a start.
It is a start. I mean, I'm happy. Obviously, we were only half a 10th off in qualifying, something like that. In the race, he's still got that wee bit on me. But we're new here, first season, so I'm just looking forward to catching him.
Well done.
Thank you.
Well done, Clay Mitchell. Welcome back to the podium. It's been a couple of rounds, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the last round we had up here was horrific for me. The national race was here. The national race didn't go apart at all. Had incidents, brake failure. So to come back here this weekend and actually fight my way back to the podium after having a bad quali as well. So I'm chuffed with that.
Well done, Clay.
Thanks a lot.
Well, unfortunately, that brings today's programme to a close, but what great action we've seen all day long. Make sure you tune in next time for more of the same.